Good evening, November 19th, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. I'm going back to the original chart that I have. I did the clean charts yesterday just to go over kind of the macro view, but I want to come back here. This is the chart that I mainly use. So what I want to do first is kind of remove some of the noise on here now that we are potentially having bottomed, and obviously these green boxes don't really mean much anymore because it broke down. You can see on here how much further down it did break. This being the larger green box was the ideal for the fib based on W and X. So we blew through that one, so we'll get rid of that and also that fib. And then this box here was the ideal place for if this was going to be an ABC, which obviously we blew through there. So I'm going to get rid of this green box now. What we need to be aware of with this fib is that it is possible still, especially since the ABC is maybe dead. I'm gonna go ahead and put the C and the Y label right here, but I'm not convinced of this quite yet. What this looks like to me potentially is here we've got 1, 2, this may be an extended 3. 1618 is typical for a third wave. So, coming up and getting a dead cat bounce to about 59 or so, and then seeing another drop down potentially is within the realm of possibilities. So we need to keep that in the back of our minds. And what I'm going to do, this fib is a little bit less helpful now because we extended here. So what we're going to do is get rid of that. We've either bottomed, like I said, in this C, or we're going to reject in a fourth wave and get another wave down. And so what we're going to do is draw fib from what is potentially 1 and 2, or sorry, 2 and 3 rather. So let me label this 1, 2. This is potentially a 3 instead of a C. So 4 right now is actually the place where we would see a reject. 4 there, and then 5 would actually see a drop down into this region here. So let me put those boxes on so that we can keep an eye on it. I'm not convinced in any direction right now, but I want to point this out that this is danger zone here in this alternate scenario where this is just a fourth wave bounce that we're seeing now. Okay, so there's that, and this would be the place for 5 to go in that scenario. So let's make that a green support box there. Okay, so that's what we need to watch out for. In order to take this off the table as far as being impulsive goes, it needs to break above this 0.5, and that's at 60,787. So once above that level, we can be a little bit more comfortable in potentially having the bottom already be in place. But as long as we're below it, there is this potential that we drop one more time down into this box. And at the same time, that would probably pretty much break this red diagonal on here as well. That would break that scenario, and we'd be looking at our alternate scenario. I'm sorry, it would break the it'd break the pale one. It would break this one here, and potentially we'd be looking at the red scenario then, and I'd have to redraw this these lines here. So in fact, let me make that kind of beige in order to reflect which numbers it goes with. So there it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. This very well could be 4 done already, or if it finds support here, along the line, that's still active, and we'll get one more wave up. I went over those possibilities, the 2 different diagonal scenarios last night. So if we see this and we see a breakdown into this region, then this pale scenario goes away, the white scenario goes away, and we're likely in the red instead. And it doesn't necessarily stop here. It's possible that we actually get then A, B, and another drop down for a C, like that. You know, 5 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B, and then 5 waves down in C to a lower level in that larger diagonal scenario. So that is possible. So this red 2 is floating around somewhere. Without more information, we can't be exactly sure where quite yet. All right, so keep that in mind. We are in danger still of dropping to a lower low as long as we remain below 60,787. Once we get above that level, though, if we do get above that level, it pushes higher, then I will lean towards this spike down here already being 4, you know, that being done, or potentially, you know, it kind of chops sideways and then hits it around here. You know, we could see something like this, where it kind of chops sideways and then finds support at that level again, where it actually hits the line more directly and then goes up. That's a possibility as well. This is why these diagonals are really quite difficult to track. They can do almost anything within the boundaries of the diagonal lines, and it's all valid. So very difficult to play with leverage based on that. So is that enough scenarios for you? That's quite a few scenarios there. The biggest potential reason that we may have already bottomed in C and why, even though it went further down than, you know, the original support boxes I had, is this scenario where let me get rid of this fib and show you this. Within a C wave, we should have 5 waves down, and we can potentially say this is a micro 1, 2, here's 3, here's 4, and here's 5. And the reason that is a potential is if we count that, let me just label that real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already being completed within that C, and let's make those like a orangey color so we know which one it goes to, right? So that's 5 waves within C as a potential as well. And the reason that works is if we draw our fib from 3 to 2, like so, we can then see this 618 to 764 region is resistance for 4, which is about where it did reject then. And 1236 to 1382 is typically support then for 5, being the end. And you can see that's about where we have at least temporarily bottomed. So that's the strongest evidence that I see to say bottom is potentially already in. But like I said, we really need to break that 60,787 region in order for that to be possible at all. And you know, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be 5 waves down within 3. Doesn't even need to be 5 waves down within C. So at this point in time, I'm just going to draw a line here, 60. Let's just call it 60,800, just to you know, be clear there. 60,007. That's close enough, right? So right about there. That's the line that we need to break. The bulls need to get above that if they don't want to see a lower drop here. If we do get above that line, it's still possible that we just chop around, obviously, like I said, and kind of come down to here. But it's likely if we get above that 60.8K region, we are at least going to be in this primary diagonal scenario here in the white, you know, the whitish color. But yeah, reiterating again, as long as we remain below it, we still are in danger of dropping to a lower low. All right, I think I've repeated myself enough. So hopefully that makes some sense, and you know, everything from last night still remains true. We are almost definitely getting another leg higher at some point in time. It's just a matter of how this area resolves itself in the meantime. So we'll see how the action continues to play out, and we'll go from there. All right, good night, everybody.